Hello everyone and welcome to the Literacy Center language tutorial. This is Meghna and today we are going to talk about clauses in a sentence and this is part 1. So what do we understand by this? As we all know that a sentence is a group of words that expresses a complete idea, right? And when we talk about the structure of any basic simple sentence, we need to know that a clause is the basic building block of a sentence. And what do we understand by clauses? Let's explore more about it. In our previous tutorial, we learned that the main two parts of a sentence are the subject and the predicate, with the subject identifying whom or what the sentence is all about, and the predicate giving more information about the subject. And a clause is nothing but a group of words consisting of a subject, often just a single noun, or a predicate, sometimes just a single verb. In other words, clauses are groups of words that contain a subject and a verb. And why should you care about them? Have you ever told someone you like them or written a letter to a friend? Likely you did it with the help of clauses. You would find your ability to communicate severely limited if you had to express your thoughts without these serviceable units of speech. Why even asking why you should care about clauses would be impossible. So let's take a moment to appreciate the most important types of clauses and what they do for us. So, what are clauses? A clause is composed of a minimum of a subject and a predicate. Without one of these elements, the clause is ungrammatical. A subject of a clause is an entity such as a person, a place, an object, or an abstract concept which acts, is described, or is acted upon. The subject usually answers the question who, what is the sentence is all about. So, when we talk about the clauses, how do we recognize them in any sentence? So, clauses comes in four types. First is main clause or we call it independent clause. Second is known as subordinate clause or dependent clause. Third is known as adjective clause or relative clause. Fourth is known as noun clause. Every clause has at least one subject and one verb, and other characteristics will help you distinguish one type of clause from another. So let's explore more about all these types. So in this tutorial, we will talk about first two, independent clause and the dependent clause. So let's talk about independent clause first. What is an independent clause? As its name indicates, an independent clause can stand on its own as a sentence. It has a subject and a verb, and it expresses a complete thought. In other words, we can say an independent clause by itself can be a simple sentence, or it is called a simple sentence because it contains subject and a verb, right? Let's talk more about this. Every independent clause will follow some definite pattern like this. Subject plus verb is equals to complete thought. Let's see some examples. Look at this sentence here. Lazy students whine. In this sentence, students is our subject and whine is our verb. Let's take another sentence here. My dog loves pizza crust. So in this sentence, our subject is dog, right? And loves is our verb. So we can say that an independent clause conveys a complete thought. It can stand alone as a sentence. When it alone stands as a sentence, it is called a simple sentence. And what about subordinate clause? What do we understand by this? Every subordinate clause will also follow a specific pattern, and this pattern is subordinate conjunction plus subject plus verb is equals to incomplete thought. Subordinate clause is also known as dependent clause. That means it needs some other clause to create a complete thought. In other words, only a single subordinate clause will be an incomplete thought. Let's see some examples for this. Look at this sentence here. Whenever lazy students whine. If you hear this sentence, it will give you an idea that there is something happened afterwards, right? So this single sentence, whenever lazy students whine, doesn't give you a complete thought. It's an incomplete thought. And in this sentence, word whenever is subordinate conjunction. Students is our subject and whine is our verb. So when you look at this term subordinate conjunction, what do we understand by this? A subordinate conjunction is a conjunction or a connecting word or a connecting phrase that introduces a dependent clause and joining it to the main clause. So it's a connecting word or phrase which we use to connect this part of the sentence to the main sentence or the independent thought. Okay? Remember that subordinate clauses can never stand alone as complete sentence. To complete the thought, you must attach each subordinate clause to the main clause. To understand more about the subordinate clause, you can find our tutorial specifically dedicated to this topic, subordinate clauses. You can find that tutorial on our website or you can find it using this link below. You will find this link with the revision guide for this tutorial as well. So if you have any questions or if you need any help, you can text us or you can email us and we will get back to you. Thank you.